Welcome to Truck Talk with Dairy Doc. Today I want to talk about something I get asked about a lot, factory farming. So before we start throwing around terms, let me just ask you, what is your definition of a factory farm? Because if you ask 10 people, you're probably going to get 10 totally different answers. I hear it all the time on social media. There are too many factory farms. All factory farms are bad. We shouldn't support factory farm. This is a factory farm. But here's the thing. What even is a factory farm? There's no one official definition. Everyone just seems to think about it as they think about it in their minds. And what your perception is might be different than someone else's. And it makes conversations around them really tricky. So some people think it's about the size of the farm. Others think it has to do with who owns it, like if it's a big company or a corporation versus a family. And some focus on how the animals are cared for. So I decided to ask people what they thought online. And here are some of the answers I got. A place that cares more about profit than animal welfare. Where animals are packed into small spaces with no sunlight. Dirty, crowded, stressful conditions. Or corporate-owned farms with no personal care. Or big farms with too many animals. So, yeah, those are concerns, but they're not all the same thing. That's not the same definition. And the truth is, not all big farms treat animals poorly, and not all small farms treat them well. Size alone doesn't tell the whole story. A large farm can have really good animal care, and a small one may not. So let's talk about another term, is CAFOs, concentrated animal feeding operations. Now that one does have an official definition. It's a regulatory term based on how many animals are on the farm and how the farm manages things like manure and runoff. It was created for environmental reasons. So when people use the word CAFO and factory farm like they're the same thing, that's not really accurate. In dairy, for example, a large CAFO means more than 700 cows, and a small CAFO has fewer than 200. Would you call a farm that had less than 200 cows, owned by a family with excellent animal care, would you call that a factory farm? But technically it's a CAFO. So what's your definition of large? More than 100? More than 500? More than 1,000? That changes from person to person as well. But why do large farms even exist? I go to a lot of large farms at a veterinarian. So like any business, scale matters. If you grow more, your cost per unit goes down. So that's true in dairy, meat, crops, most things. And oftentimes a farm is supporting multiple families. So let's say grandpa started the farm and passed it down to his 3 kids. That farm might now be 3 times as large to support their 3 families. I see that all the time. So what do you think about that? And again, large doesn't have to mean bad. So if you're concerned about how animals are treated on farms, which I think we all should be, let's use very specific language. So instead of saying factory farming is bad or assuming something is a factory farm based on a photo or a label, try asking questions. Do the animals get veterinary care? Is the facility clean? Do the workers seem trained and respectful to the animals? Are the animals acting healthy and comfortable? These are all the types of things that are assessed in animal welfare audits that most commercial dairy farms go through regularly. And so if you really want to know what's going on, support farms that match your ethics, which I think you should, go visit a dairy near you. Meet the farmers. See the animals. Ask questions. Because if it's a family-run operation, small or large, or if it's corporate owned, you may be surprised the amount of care that goes into it. So form your own opinion. Don't just repeat what you hear in headlines or online. Words like factory farm can sound scary, but they're often used without much context. And sometimes if 2 people are talking about factory farms, they may be talking about totally different things. So let's start talking about what really matters. Animal care, sustainability, how we can all support the good farms and good farming practices, no matter what the size. I'm a dairy veterinarian and I love sharing knowledge like this. So if you enjoyed it, give me a subscribe or give me a like, drop your comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.